All right, this is the Nitromethane G366. The last cutting session, we shut it off and it wouldn't restart. So we're going to go back into, making sure it'll run and kind of go from there. You know what I mean? So after that last cutting session, I kind of ended the video after it wouldn't restart, and then I went into the shop, changed the plug, and it fired up. So I went ahead and got it purged, and I shut her down. So today we're just back into it, making sure we got a good running saw, make sure she starts and everything. But the key here is to make sure it restarts. So I'm going to try to get it started, run it for a few seconds, and shut it off. And then hopefully I can get it to restart on one pull. That's kind of important with racing this saw because it is a cold start race. You have to be able to start your saw and get her to the wood and everything. That's part of the actual race. So we need to make sure it'll do that and do that well. And being that it's on nitromethane, I can usually get this pretty good with gas, but nitromethane, this is the only one I've ever done. So this is the only saw I've ever built like this. So we'll kind of see how things progress. I might have to figure out like a starting procedure, a prime or something. I don't know. We're going to find out. So let's go ahead and get her fired up. Make sure her tune's still good. And just in case you're wondering, the trick with nitromethane is rich. Just run it as rich as you possibly can. Every time you get more fuel to it, just run it fatter and fatter and fatter. It just, because I don't know, it's just something about it. The more fuel you shove to it, the more power you're going to get. Now you got to keep in mind, this saw is not, it is ported, but it's still running the numbers that you would expect on like a firewood build. Not something you would expect in a full-blown race build. So we ain't quite to the finish line yet, but we can still compete with it. Just keep that in mind as things progress. I've been focused lately more so with the carburetor on this thing because of how heavily modified it had to be. And I've just been putting all my focus into the carburetor instead of the actual build itself. I figure the nitromethane might change on, I shouldn't say change, but it'll influence on how I want to build it, So, yeah, let's go ahead and get her fired up and see what she does. Alrighty. Now, I've been playing with this. I'm working on a spacer for the starter handle to get it up just a little higher to help with that cold start. That way I'm not punching the plastic, I want this starter handle to be up just a little higher. So I've been working on figuring out a spacer setup. That's just a piece of rubber hose that came off an old airline. But, it'll work for me figuring it out on how high I want to make it. I did have it really long on the last video. I've been taking a little bit off at a time, trying to get an idea of where I want it. And this is a square chain done up kind of like in a racing profile. I got pictures of it. I'll throw up some pictures, but I've already got cuts on this chain, so the pictures aren't going to show much. The chain's all oily and stuff. It's hard to see. You know what I mean? But let's see if she'll fire up. No prime. It's just whatever I purged it from the last time I tried to, or whatever. The only gas that's in it is from whenever I purged it. So I don't have a prime on it. And it still has a functioning choke. So, I'm still starting it like a normal saw. All right, so let's see if that was enough to get her to start on one pole. All right, that seemed to work. Let's see if it repeats it 2 more times. Let's see if we can get this 3 times in a row. Nope. You see the haze? I got a haze of smoke out there. I mixed some oil twice as rich as what I was supposed to. So I didn't do any tuning on it. I just wanted to make sure, you know what I mean? I already mixed up 10 ounces of fuel. And I ended up throwing as much oil in there as what I should have for 20 ounces. So I didn't play with the tuning at all because of that. But it seems to work. I think I need to make sure I don't put too much heat into it before I do that restart thing. You know what I mean? I bet let's see if she does the restart thing now. I doubt it will. Yeah, I need to make sure I only warm it up for a few seconds because you're still running a little bit of that gas in the system after the purge, you know what I mean? And she fires up, you know, she's a little rich there at first. So I think that's going to be my starting procedure, is just not to warm it up completely, still have it somewhat cold before I fire it up for the race or whatever, you know what I mean, for the actual race itself. Still keep it on a little bit on the cold side. So there we go. She's just running a lot of oil right now in the mix. I didn't check the, I got too many cookies here to really give it a good check. But the starter handle height, can you see it? Let me adjust my camera. No, you can't see it. Let me just do a big old zoom out. That should work. All right. So what I'm playing with on the starter handle is whenever you do your cold start, you know, you want your handle here, but I was running into an issue where I was punching the top of the saw when I went to start. So that's why I got this hose here to work like a spacer. I had it really tall. I had it sticking up to here. And that wasn't needed. So like your hands are in the wood and then you come down and grab. You know what I mean? I think this height here, just adding an inch or two of hose is enough. It's a little funky. I'll come up with something better. But this is just to help me get an idea, you know? Here, let's just see what happens. Let's get her set up. Come on now. It's being a pain in the butt because I'm just on a rubber hose. So you put your hands here, and then whenever you go to start, you just reach down and boom, start it, you know? So let's see what happens. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. You can see the issue with it not restarting. I wonder if I just put it on choke. Nope. Right there, I just let it run for a second on full choke, and it kept running. Just to give you an idea. This stuff's crazy, this fuel. So, let's see if that extra fuel from letting it run at full choke for a second did anything. You know what I mean? 3, 2, 1, go. Nothing. I think that's going to be it. I think after the first few seconds, once it starts building just a little bit of heat, shut her down. After that, I'm going to be yanking on the cord a few times. I don't know if that's normal, but that's the way this one definitely is. You know, I still got to get into it and finish the build. It's not turning anywhere near as many as RPM as I want it to. Now, I mentioned a few times about purging it. So I just emptied the nitromethane out, which it was empty. That might have been part of the reason I was having trouble, but I doubt it. I only had a couple of drops fall out. So she was an empty fuel tank. But you just put some gas in it and start it. Just your regular gas mix. That's all you're doing to purge it. It's because that nitromethane and stuff is very corrosive. It'll destroy your whole saw. So you got to get it flushed out of there, you know? So all you do is start it with on regular gas. And that's it. And that's it. That's all she takes to purge it. You run it until she shuts off or until she, you know what I mean? Sometimes you'll do them and they'll still keep running. Just depends on how much fuel you're shoving at it. And you've seen how quick that shut off. I'm pushing a lot of fuel to it. So I'm pretty happy with it so far, you know. This one's definitely been a learning process. I bought a whole other top end so we can do a full custom head build and everything. I just don't know how much compression and stuff we can throw at nitromethane. And so this is kind of like a learning process to figure it out, you know. And I've also found some folks tell me that methanol likes more timing and nitromethane likes less timing. So how is that compared to gas? Is it more timing for methanol compared to gas? And then less timing than gas for the nitromethane? I don't know. There's a lot of stuff here we got to figure out until we get this saw to the end game. Right now, I doubt it's probably not performing much better than a regular gas-ported version because it's just not built to be, you know, wild. It's got a huge squish number. I think it's sitting at like 40, 45 thousandths on the swish, something like that. So, you know, all the numbers kind of resemble that too. Nothing about it tells you it would be a high performing saw. Nothing about it. So we're just running the fuel to help build some torque. I mean, other than that, it's not much more than what you would expect out of any normal, firewood type build. But it's something for now. We got to kind of learn the process along the way. You know what I mean? But anyway, hey, we'll catch you in the next one. Later.